And this morning, our border is back in the spotlight as the future of Title 42 is up in the air. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Connor.
And I'm Neda Irampour. Now, today, the Secretary of Homeland Security will be testifying on Capitol Hill. CBS 8's Chris Groh live in San Ysidro at the border, staying on top of the latest developments there. Good morning to you.
And good morning. And remember, Title 42 allows for the U.S. government to go ahead and expel migrants that are applying for asylum or waiting on that process back across the border due to COVID-19 health concerns. So a lot of the concern over the removal of Title 42 centers on what to do with what is expected to be a surge at the border. And so recently, DHA Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas released a 20-page memo outlining the Biden administration's plan for that expected rush. Now, in the strategy, Mayorkas plans to, quote, surge personnel and resources to the southern border, expand migrant processing capacity, deport, detain, or even prosecute some migrants, secure assistance from border organizations, crack down on human smugglers, and finally deter migration across the Western Hemisphere. Now, inside that 20-page memo includes an expansion of what's called expedited removal, a 1996 policy that allows the government to deport those who do not ask for humanitarian refuge or fail to initiate asylum screenings. Now, Mayorkas is scheduled to testify on Capitol Hill this morning in just less than an hour. The removal of Title 42 is also currently being restrained by a federal judge in Louisiana. Now, hearing for that is set for May 10th. The White House planned to end Title 42 by May 23rd. So, again, we could potentially not see that happen based on what this judge rules at that hearing and moving forward. But when asked, a senior administration official did tell reporters just yesterday that they do plan to comply with whatever the judge does indeed rule on Title 42. Eric and Neda.
Chris Groh staying on top of it for us. Thank you, Chris. Despite these developments over Title 42 this morning, San Diego County is preparing for an influx of migrants when the order is lifted. The Board of Supervisors just voted to find and use county property as a temporary shelter. The county will seek state and federal funds to pay for shelter services. And this morning, we are waiting for word on the identity of the two teenagers killed in that deadly crash at Torrey Pines State Beach we brought you yesterday morning. 3 other teenagers are in the hospital. Police say a 19-year-old was driving the car with the 4 other teens inside. They think the driver may have been drunk and veered off the road and slammed into a guardrail. Monday night, the car hit several rocks before landing on the beach. All of the teens were either 18 or 19 years old. The driver has minor injuries. The 2 surviving passengers have serious injuries.
And this morning, a big update over honors and advanced placement classes at San Diego's largest high school. We are working for you to follow this story all the way through. CBS 8's Dana Marie McNichol joining us live in San Carlos with the very latest decision there at Patrick Henry. What does this mean for students now, Dana Marie?
Well, good morning, Ned. I think many of those students probably went to bed very happy last night, knowing that they are able to re-sign up for those honors classes that were once on the chopping block. So I'm going to break down a little bit backstory and then what we're looking at now here a couple months later. So back in February, Principal Irwin sent out an email to parents sharing that due to equity reasons, they were going to eliminate honors classes because racial disparities between honors and non-honors courses was something she was worried about. Now, parents and students were frustrated and angry about this elimination. Now the principal says she's heard the parents' worries and will bring back those classes. Parents and students spoke out after honors literature and history disappeared from next year's schedule. Now the school says those classes are coming back along with a pilot program which will offer more opportunities to expand its honors class offerings. She also says Patrick Henry will be collaborating with district curriculum teams to develop honors courses at the 9th and 10th grade levels open to any interested students for next year. A main concern of parents was how competitive students could be if they weren't able to boost their GPA with honors classes. Now Patrick Henry is asking the community to be engaged in creating this class schedule in terms of what next year and the years to follow can look like. You could head to CBS8.com for a full timeline on how they're planning to do this. I'm Dana Marie McNichol coming to you live from San Carlos. Neda?
Anna Marie, thank you so much for that. Now this morning, the Grossmont Union High School District has a new superintendent. The district's governing board unanimously selected Mary Beth Castan for the role. Castan has spent 35 years working for the district. She's currently the assistant superintendent responsible for all educational programs in the district. She takes over on July 1st.
3 years ago today, a man walked into the Habada Highway and opened fire, killing one woman and injuring 3 others. Later today, one of the congregants who was there will be honored. His name is Oscar Stewart. Stewart protected his family and other congregants during the shooting by chasing after the gunman and scaring him away. He was previously honored at the White House during a national prayer service. Now Stewart is one of the 4 citizens of courage being recognized by the San Diego County District Attorney's Office today. All deputies working in San Diego jails will now wear body cameras. A recent state audit of the Sheriff's Department jails showed they had the second highest number of deaths in the state, with 185 deaths between 2006 and 2020. The county is expanding the body camera program in an effort to improve transparency and accountability. But a local activist says she's not confident in the move, saying there could be room for error.
Deputies have full control over those body-worn camera footage.
Under the pilot program, there were roughly 80 body cameras used by deputies. Now about 1,200 people will be using them at local detention facilities.
And now this morning, a rule to end discrimination against women in the county has been tentatively approved. This includes transgender women and non-binary people. Opponents argued this would discriminate against the women it's meant to protect by providing access to women's shelters, bathrooms, and locker rooms to transgender women.
Folks, we don't need or want little girls in fear that anyone who identifies as a woman can now enter what once was a sacred private space, a bathroom or a locker room.
Trans and gender nonconforming women are women, period. Full stop. All women are vulnerable to the harm caused by gender inequities.
The board will vote again to formally adopt that ordinance on May 10th.
Taking a look outside here, Evan, we're going to have a cooler day in store.
Cooler day this afternoon, cloudier day out there, and that continues not only today, but then into tomorrow as well. Here's a live look as we start off your 6 o'clock hour. It's 6:08 right now. Temperatures are primarily in the upper 50s as you look across the county, along the coastline especially, and inland. And then here is that more pronounced marine layer that kicks off our Wednesday morning. We're seeing a coastal eddy stir up some of those clouds. You may have seen as you went to bed last night, those clouds starting to surge on shore. They're not making their way too far inland, but they're doing enough in terms of causing some limited visibility, overcast skies for many of us as we start off the morning. Here's another live look. This is from Mount Soledad. You can see that layer of clouds that we're working with as we start off the day. A little bit of a breeze as well. Temperatures again mostly in the 50s. By the afternoon, we're going for the mid 60s. This is cooler than yesterday and cooler than average. Average would be 69 degrees. We're going for 66. Partly cloudy skies are expected through the afternoon. Cooler weather through Thursday. Low clouds, fog, even a little bit of drizzle possible in the morning hours of tomorrow. And warmer weekend, but then cool again next week. So we go on this roller coaster ride where we'll warm up slightly into the weekend. We'll cool down again into the beginning of next week. Beginning of next week even presents a small threat for some wet weather. All of this because it's a typical spring-like pattern that we've got overhead. Several short waves passing through the north of us. As we get sandwiched in between 2 of them, we'll see this ridge of high pressure build. That's going to be for Friday and Saturday. But then on the trailing end of it, we've got this next low sinking farther south, and that's where we see that production of moisture just across Southern California for Sunday. So presenting that threat for drizzle. None of this wet weather seems to bring about anything too major. Looks like it's all going to be pretty light. A light drizzle, maybe misting that will occur into tomorrow morning, your Thursday, as well as Sunday morning. However, this is just kind of wave after wave with those temperatures again cooling into tomorrow, warming for Friday and Saturday, and then cooling back down again into next week. We'll take a look at that 8-day forecast just a few minutes out. It's 6:09. Let's take a look at what's going on the roads as we kick off your morning. All right, so here's what drive times look like as we start off the day. You've got the southbound 5 from Oceanside to Encinitas. That commute is looking all right. 11-minute commute. 805 northbound from San Ysidro to the 94. 14-minute commute. Speeds are in the 60-mile-per-hour range. We were tracking one stalled vehicle that was on the 15 northbound a little bit earlier. This was as you get onto the 8. Looks like that is getting cleared as we speak. They're working to push that over to the shoulder, clear that number 2 lane as well. So improvements made out there. No other major crashes or collisions to get to this morning here at 610.